Hello and welcome to Notes from a Small, Cold, Dark, Miserable Island. We're your favorite podcast if you're an American in the UK, probably. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt. I hope so. I hope somebody out there is like, oh!
We gotta be somebody's favorite one of these days.
We had our first Spotify comment. So it's still the early days.
And was it a good one?
Yeah, they were just vibing with what we were saying. They're like, oh yeah, I've experienced that too. They're just like, you know, I've got schema for that thing that you were talking about, people wearing LeBron James jerseys.
It wasn't AI generated.
Nah.
That's good, because somebody was sharing with me some comments about their band the other day, and like it was just so obviously, I thought he was being paranoid, but it was just like so obviously like AI writing. It was very weird. It didn't make any sense.
A human was using AI to make comments about
it's like, who knows why somebody's using why AI is just going rogue and just commenting on an indie band.
Skynet.
How was your bank holiday?
That was yesterday. Yeah, we should say, just to timestamp this, it's May the 5th. It's 5/5, no matter which side of the pond you're on. Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
We always talk
happy
about Cinco de Mayo in this day.
How was your Cinco de Mayo bank holiday? Early right. May, Cinco de Mayo.
Because you know, England is very much like F Napoleon. We'll celebrate the Mexicans holding off Napoleon.
Really? That's
this is the thing in the States is people always think that Cinco de Mayo is Mexican Independence Day, and it's like, no, man.
Yeah, that's a different holiday.
Right.
Cinco de Mayo is has something what? Napoleon?
It has to do with the Mexicans. Fact check me, but it has something to do with like Mexico keeping Napoleon at bay and tell me what year.
I literally have no idea.
So yeah, Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo was yesterday, and now today is May 5th, and a big day coming up later this week here in the UK, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, nothing much. I'm cold. I'm sick. I got my kids' school cold, so I'm kind of in a liminal state over here, just highly caffeinated and also swimming in a head full of mucus.
Have you tried raw milk?
As a cure?
Yeah.
What? Now, Mike, something we may have mentioned on the show is that when you were in the States for those 3 years, you were there during the last election cycle, 2024 election cycle, and they had you on the RFK Jr. campaign beat before he became.
I had several encounters with RFK Jr.
monster. So when you say raw milk, I'm like, is this RFK related?
Well, it is sort of. So look. You know, my bank holiday was spent very British, classic British. One of these classic British things was visiting the relatives, right?
Okay.
Out in the shires. A very shire place. There's hobbits running around and everything. And so we frequently go up to the shires and go out to the shires, rather. We pass a farm every time we drive out there. And they have a little shed where they sell farm goods, right?
Yeah.
Sounds very quaint.
Yeah, out by my in-laws, there's a lot of these places have now popped up where they're like farm shop and artisanal coffee and get your spades and hoes here.
This one is much more sort of rough and ready. It doesn't have any of the coffee bar element or whatever. It's a shed where the guy sells his stuff.
Keep it real.
This time around, there was a sign outside the farm that said raw milk. And my wife said, "Oh, yeah, let's get some raw milk." To which I said, "Oh, that's really funny." And she was like, No, let's really get some raw milk.
Pull the car over, Mike. I want raw milk.
What are you talking about? Do you know what raw milk is? And she's like, "Of course I know what raw milk is. Quit being patronizing. Quit being patronizing." So, okay, all right, fine. Why do you want raw milk? Well, I've read about it. Okay, everything that I've read about it says that like you shouldn't drink it, but if you want some raw milk, that's fine. So we pull over on our way back to the to the big city from the shires, and there's a shed. Now we first started going there during the pandemic, right? Because this guy, I don't know. I guess we were driving up there rather than taking the train. I don't know, but we first noticed it. The guy started to sell his produce, and it's refrigerator with the raw milk in there.
Okay, well,
and
at
the
least there's
non-raw
that.
milk in there, and the yogurt, and the at least it's in a refrigerator, right? He has a proper like refrigerated setup. My wife goes in, picks out the raw milk, blah blah blah. Then the farmer pops up from seemingly nowhere.
Okay.
Like he was not there a second ago, and then suddenly he's there. A little bit weird. That's
Y'all
fine.
from out of town.
Yeah.
Except with a Shire accent.
Exactly like that. So there was some issue with my wife being her card or something. I don't know. So she goes back to the card, I don't know, just
leaving you
do a
alone,
thing, leaving me alone with the farmer,
milkman.
leaving me alone with the farmer. Now I didn't know raw milk is like essentially banned in some states, right? And but in most of Europe, it's perfectly fine as long as it's labeled raw milk.
Okay.
It's perfectly fine, except in Scotland. It is banned. You cannot sell it in Scotland, weirdly.
Okay.
So there must be some sort of like cross-border milk trade.
Wow.
I'm assuming.
This is the Wild West of
This is the Wild West, and we're not too
unpasteurized
far.
milk,
We are
yeah.
not too far outside of London. But then the farmer starts telling me a story about. I'm just sort of like throwing out some casual comments. Oh yeah, we stop here every so often, blah blah blah, whatever. And then he starts telling me a story, and he starts by saying, "Yeah, during the pandemic, there were these Africans." Can you tell where this is going?
I mean, I'm gritting my teeth over here.
There were these Africans, and they had lots of money. I was like, what? Okay. They had lots of money, but they had no way to access it. And that's when I started to do the bank transfer thing.
Oh,
he has his
Nigerian
bank
prince.
He's like he has his bank details up on the wall. Like if
Okay.
you can't pay with the card, you can just transfer him some money. Or if you didn't have cash, you can transfer him some money. And he said, yeah, they were here. They spent thousands, he said. There was a literal quote. He spent thousands. They spent thousands on like raw milk and eggs or something.
Okay.
And I was like, I could not understand what he was talking about. I was like, so they had lots of money, but they couldn't access any cash. And he was like, yeah, there was no cash, remember? There was no cash during the pandemic. And then I was like, this all sounds crazy. And then he said, yeah, the pandemic was crazy. It was insanity. I was like, whoa. And then usually I do what I usually do in these circumstances, which is like, oh, tell me more.
Oh, no.
But then my wife came back and paid, and then we left
Your journalistic
very quickly.
impulses were like, please unpack this, and your wife's like, let's not get murdered or
And then I
have to
was
deal
like,
with a loony.
oh,
Impulses
right,
were
okay.
like, hey, maybe it's time to go.
It didn't go as dark with the Africans as I thought it might
Okay.
have. We didn't have to we didn't have to go there. But
I thought it was gonna get racist or like Nigerian prince scam.
now I have these 2 pints of raw milk in the fridge, which I'm treating basically as biological waste. Like if my hand brushes them as I reach in to get the real milk, the cooked milk,
Yeah.
the healthy milk, the stuff that won't make you sick, I'll wash my hands really, really intensely.
Let's see what the boys can do.
I'm
with-
watching my family members for any signs of
science
stomach
experiment.
cramps. How's your tummy? It's all right?
Wow.
Feeling a little bit flushed?
So you had a much more exciting bank holiday.
If you want to, in some respects, I suppose. Yes.
I stayed up very late on not last night, but the night before. Just want to mention this because we're tracking it from the last couple episodes. Both the Cleveland Cavaliers basketball team and the Buffalo Sabres hockey team have advanced from the first round of the playoffs
doing well.
into the final 8 of their respective leagues, their conference semifinals. So it's who's Buffalo going up against? Montreal?
The Habitancia, the Habs.
Yep.
Those Montreal Canadiens.
And Cleveland will take on Detroit basketball Pistons. Are they?
What's your faith level here?
It's okay. They had a harder time with Toronto than everyone would have liked, but Toronto is a very physical defensive team, so that is preparing us for the Pistons. And the Pistons are coached by the head coach that we fired previous to our current head coach, so he's going to come out real angry, but we want to be like, no, we fired you for a reason, and defeat him. No hard feelings, really. He was a good coach, but so yeah, my faith level. We're definitely not favored to win the series, but there's no reason we can't pull an upset.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you come from a city that has actually won something at some point. in their sporting history.
Well, I mean, once in 62 years.
Once is more than one being larger than zero.
Oh, sorry.
I'm still in the sort of yeah, okay, great, good job.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really want to like totally buy into the hope thing.
Yeah, if they get to the Final Four, though, I think then you should start to, you need to buy a hoodie.
We also have to mention King Charles and his, depending on what newspaper you read, trollish or like impertinent speech, both at the dinner, the state dinner, and to Congress.
My wife and I are most grateful to you for your generous hospitality.
This is a definite thing for like Americans who live an English life back and forth, or you'll have your share of Americans back home, your friends and family back home who like want you to sound off and give their opinions on the royal family. I always found it was a little bit like, yeah, it's not a major part of life here. I don't really. But then I do find myself end up talking about it a lot. And this time, specifically, my wife was like, you guys need to talk about this on the show because it's, a very clear American-English relations moment.
It's true. We should probably pay her
a producer fee.
A producer fee. Good idea. It totally. Likewise, I think, look, I did my research this time. I listened to his whole speech, his whole dinner speech, where he gives Trump some bell off of a ship that was named the Trump or something.
Oh,
and
Trump
but it is sort of loaded with jokes. The one that everyone has been going with, and I think we can slip a clip in here, is the one about Americans speaking French.
Indeed, you recently commented, Mr. President, that if it were not for the United States, European countries would be speaking German. Dare I say that if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking French.
I mean, that was not the only joke in the dinner one. He actually joked about like the war against Iran. He was like, he was like, my mom came here when there was like Middle East tensions. That wouldn't happen today, would it?
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Yeah, he did the classic Hugh Grant, right? It's like posh English person nobody expects to be funny,
right?
Is funny. Is doubly funny because it's a posh English dude.
Yeah. Threw some sneak disses in there, which was, part of the reason that people are like, oh, that's impertinent, or oh, that's so great.
American leadership helped rebuild a shattered continent, playing a decisive role as a defender of freedom in Europe. We and I shall never forget that, not least as freedom is again under attack following Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
People are like, oh, here's an example of a statesman who can be coherent and, speak in a way that ostensibly is bringing people together.
Yeah. And it's funny how he has sort of like bipartisan support. Like in the United States, everyone's like, yeah, the king, he's a good guy. Even some people who had like signs that said "No Kings," It's so funny that.
But he comes out, talking about we need to safeguard nature, and he said the word ice caps.
He's like raw milk. It's good. It's all good.
Have you all tried raw milk? But no, he said the word ice caps. He said the word NATO. He said he specifically said that we need to defend Ukraine, and then they cut away. C-SPAN then cut away to Chuck Schumer, who looked like a child who had just eaten some ice cream that gave him an orgasm. So all right, yeah,
he got good reviews. A lot of people didn't want him to go. Like there was some sort of poll here in Britain saying like no, and then like afterwards, everyone was like, yeah, no, it's fine, it's all good. Won't really make much difference. Unlike the elections that are going to happen on Thursday.
Now, yes, this is very important. I'm not voting, but you are.
Well, this was my first question. My first question was, are you eligible to vote?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Good. You know that one.
So, okay. So is this...
But it's more complicated than this. I think this is the public service element here. Because a lot of our country people are here not on visas or indefinite leave to remain, but because they have EU passports, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you're on the Irish Italian plan, whatever it is, you found that granny who had the Irish citizenship, and you got Italian citizenship probably a few years ago before Brexit, blah blah blah.
Pre-Brexit,
or Irish is probably more common these days because Irish gives you the right to live here, right?
Okay.
And if you have Irish citizenship, for instance, you are eligible to vote.
Okay.
In this election and most elections. But garden variety non-citizens like yourself, not eligible to vote. What's at stake here is a lot of local offices, right? This is basically just a convenient excuse for us to like run down the political system for newbies.
Fantastic. Politics special, government special.
Right.
This is where, now even more so than the sports episode, this is where my ignorance is going to be exposed. This is going to be very embarrassing to be like, have you paid attention to anything in your years of living here?
You know a lot about sports, though. You also know a lot about politics, but maybe British politics is where we're sort of reaching the sort of, I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. So you, as a person who's lived here longer and who professionally is required to know things about things, I'm going to let you share.
I was thinking about this on the way over, and with the exception of the last general election, which happened in 2024, I was involved in some way, shape, or form of covering every big election in this country since 2005.
Great.
For nearly 20 years. And over the time, I was, at some points, I was like at the vote counts. I did that a couple of times. Then I was in the National Broadcasters Election Center for a couple of times, including for the Brexit vote.
Wow. What was that scene like?
The Brexit vote, I remember I was we sort of split shift it. So I came in at like 3 a.m. And to be honest, it was very interesting. And the sort of millennial crew that I was working with at the time was like apoplectic. And I always contrast it with later that year. I was also in the Washington office of this national broadcaster, where there was British people, but also many Americans, also
for Trump's election.
Yeah, for Trump's election, and the mood was very different. It was much more professional in Washington. I think it just had to do with the people I was surrounded by in Brexit. I was just like, I basically had to sort of deliver some sort of like speech that was like, people, let's just like focus on the task. And
you had to talk the kids off the ledge.
There's no crying in journalism. I don't know. It's like, these are dramatic things. Anyway, that's, so I've sort of absorbed all of this. Although I say like I'm not a political journalist in that I don't work for like a politics unit and never have like worked in like the Washington Press Corps or anything like this. You just sort of pick it up, and politics is a large part of news. Okay, so we've determined who can vote. You can't vote.
I cannot.
I can vote, but then I was worried that maybe after moving back I didn't register. I hope I'm on the list. Otherwise, I can't have my vote. I brought in all these election things that have been.
Yeah.
Look at all these colorful.
Yeah, man.
We got red. We got the blue. We got a green one here.
Leaflets
Is this the green
are
party?
coming through my door.
It's your choice.
People are knocking on my door.
It's local elections in Scotland and Wales. They elect the assembly of those countries, which are more like a state. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They're more like a state government. These local elections, even though they're seen as sort of referendum on the government, the national government, local. They have about as much power as your town council, right?
Okay. Is it different from the town councils though? I mean, we're not.
No. I mean, these are like either. Well, here in London, right? There's borough council, so you probably have had like your local Hackney borough councillor.
Oh, I know Hackney Council very well. But are they elected? I don't know.
They're elected.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're elected, and I don't know about the competition, but because as we'll go through, like there's so many parties, that, like often a lot of these things are highly contested.
Okay.
Even in places that seem to be sort of safe labor. Usually, a lot of London is safe labor.
Okay.
Right.
But for like council jobs, which so much of that is just perfunctory, just like fielding phone calls, helping people with the issues of
they don't elect
traffic
those
and their
people.
flats and stuff. I just don't see like the party dogma really getting involved much with how those council folks operate.
Yeah. I suppose they have like influence over budgets and certain amount of over education and things like this, right?
Okay.
So they can decide how to spend, money to pick up the garbage.
Okay.
The same as a town council, city council in the USA.
Right. Of course, in the USA they could get involved in some like book banning and shutting down recycling. I don't know what sort of pernicious shit they could.
But burn old tires next to the kindergarten.
My plan to burn tires next to the kindergarten will definitely make a brighter future for you.
I think so like it's easy to sort of think that these are sort of like British midterms, but they're not really. Okay. They're just local elections.
Locals.
They sort of show. People often use it as a way to sort of express their anger at the current government, right?
Yeah.
Which is run by the Labour Party.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of pure power, it's not as like a congressional midterm election where you can actually swing a Senate or
reshape actual power.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you want to tell me about?
We should break down. That's what's at stake. But let's sort of break down all the different parties, all these leaflets over here.
Yeah. At least in the Ealing area.
And all the parties, what they stand for. Now, I think it's a little bit sort of you can make too much of a comparison between British politics and American politics, right?
Not so one-to-one.
It's not. And I'll give you some examples, but to begin with, I pasted the list of parties and groups in Parliament currently. And there's 18 different groups on this list, right?
In Parliament
now. In Parliament right now.
Oh, wow.
Not just like two and then like Bernie Sanders, right? Which is what we get in the U.S.
Right.
It's a phenomenal amount of choice.
Whatever Fetterman wants to call himself.
What is Fetterman's like?
Sell out.
Fetterman would be his own party in the this would be the hoodie party.
The schlub party.
The guy is a schlub. I still think of like the vegetable tray when I think of John Fetterman.
Because of his stroke?
No, because that's terrible. That's terrible.
But hey, edgelord. Okay, so there's 18 different parties, some maybe micro parties represented in Parliament right now.
All right. Why don't we just go through these and you can tell me what you know about them. All right.
This is going to be
the biggest one by far.
Do you know this indie band?
There's 650 seats. 403 of those are held by the Labour Party.
Okay.
Right.
Because of the big.
Where would you put them on the scale, the spectrum?
Oh, yeah, center left, but creeping center and right.
See, you know way more than you think. You know way more than you think. Usually Labor is compared to the Democratic Party, right? In the U.S. Now, it's been a pretty sort of fair comparison. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, for many years, and usually sort of the Democratic president gets along with the Labor prime minister. That's fair enough. Okay, and then the next on the list is the Conservative Party. The other big party has 116, and they are.
Are you telling me to spectrum them?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, but not right. Like,
right.
They're traditional right.
And usually they get compared to the Republican Party in the U.S., but I don't know. Seems a bit funny these days.
Okay.
I think the key thing to remember about all these is that on some issues they're just not debatable, right? In British politics. So, abortion, right? There's no party that is like an anti-abortion party that is a mainstream party. There's some tiny parties that are against abortion that are further down on this list.
Okay.
But they have no clout and no sort of abortion is not something they campaign on frequently.
Okay.
Right?
It's just not as hot button an issue.
And it's huge in the U.S., as is healthcare, right? Now, all these parties, nearly all of them that we mention, are 100% behind socialized medicine, the National Health Service.
Right. They may have different feelings about how they want to downsize it or reshape it or...
Exactly. But they're all basically pay lip service to the fact that there should be a national health service that provides health for everybody. I mean, which is crazy when you think of the United States. I mean, part of the reason you, dear listener, are here is because you think that's a more humane system, right? And not like the barbarism that we have in the United States. It's crazy. Right. So continuing down the list, there's a party called the Liberal Democrats, which has, this even astonished me when I looked up, there's 72 members of parliament.
Okay, and they are, so they're left of center, but not way left.
They're sort of, now they're left. Now they have sort of floated, right?
But they are crucially forever tainted by their deal with the devil when they made a coalition with the Conservatives.
Exactly.
When Cameron was elected.
Exactly. See, you know way. Yeah. There you go.
Well, yeah.
You totally underestimated your knowledge here. 2010, they enter a coalition government because they have 72 MPs. They had, I can't remember how many they had, similar amount. Maybe it was about 50 back then. But there was not between the two big parties. There was a balance of power situation. So they had to team up with this third party, the Liberal Democrats. And you're right, forever tainted, particularly because before the election they said we were not going to impose tuition fees for college students, university students, and then they did. And it was just a turnaround, U-turn, lie, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then they tanked. But now they're back because traditionally they've been a little bit of a, if you don't like the big two parties and you live in an area, it's a bit of a protest vote.
Yeah.
They're not as conservative as the Conservative Party, but they also believe in civil liberties. So if you're like a free speech kind of person,
right.
You might be drawn to them.
So a progressive party, but healing up from having shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Last decade. But not as left as the next one on the list. No, 3 more down on the list.
Yeah. No, the next one's pretty left. The Scottish National Party.
Okay, but
right?
that's just for Scottish, right?
Just for Scotland.
I can't be like...
They're just Scottish people.
I'm here in London and I support the SNP. They'd be like, no, shut up.
Well, there was, because we have a lot of Scottish invaders, immigrants.
That's not cool, man.
No. It's all right. It's all right.
Scottish people are the best.
I
love it when
I can say that. I'm one of them. I got some sort of grandma. You know what I mean? I got some sort of Scottish grandma. I can make that joke. Right. Generally, they're pretty left wing, but their main thing is independent Scotland.
Right.
And they have gone up and down.
Like, we don't even want to have this party because we want to be independent.
Just abolish it.
The goal of this party is for this party not to be a party anymore.
Yeah. Except when we rule and we become the Scottish Maoist party.
Let's have Scotland take over England. Let's go. Okay, so they have what is it, 9 out of this?
They at some points they have had the majority of seats in Scotland. They got wrecked in the last election. To be honest, I don't know totally why that happened.
For everybody who has to take the Life in Britain test, this is always a big thing that we joke about, is that for the Life... a coworker from originally from Turkey just passed her Life in Britain test, and I was like, oh, did you learn how many Scottish MPs there were? Joke. And 15 years on from when I took the Life in Britain test, and she was like, yes, I learned it.
Is there still the one about the population of Scotland on there?
Possibly.
And it's like, it's not like, 1 million or like 100 million. It's like 4.8 million.
You need to know precisely.
5.1 million. 5.25 million. It's like, whoa. Okay, the next one,
Scottish
the next one that
the
we have is Reform UK.
Okay,
and you know these guys.
Cool.
Yeah, these are the maybe the closest thing we have to the Trumpist party, but I think also differs from the Republicans in some way. They're like the anti-immigrant party. They used to be the Brexit party, but now they just don't like, not just the Europeans, but just like foreigners in general.
Yeah. The blatant corruption party. There's all sorts of, stuff out there about
like £5 million from some foreigner, even though he doesn't like foreigners, Nigel Farage got. I think we can be sort of slanted against this, particularly on this podcast, because these are the people who are like preventing you from getting a visa, dear American. They unless you're rich, in which case.
But the key thing, I feel like the key thing, as in 2016, is not just to laugh them off, especially because a lot of refugees from the Tories are joining them and making them like the hot party for disillusioned old whiteys.
That's true.
Of which there's always going to be a lot. People get old and grumpy, but they still are allowed to vote.
Even though they are fifth on this list, a lot of people think that they could get enough votes, and polls sort of indicate this. It's really difficult to sort of extrapolate now, but they think that they could be the biggest party in the next government, which would be pretty crazy.
Can I just say
pretty crazy?
Yeah. Are we sort of tracking them in these locals this week to see how powerful their influence is?
Absolutely.
This morning I saw a Daily Mirror, which is a conservative paper, right?
Daily Mirror is more of a left-wing tabloid.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I always figured that all the tabloids were right-wing.
No, the Mirror is more of a left-wing tabloid.
All right.
You should do one about papers.
Yeah. What is paper? Well, anyway, the Daily Mirror had a big headline with Farage's picture and a massive 99 point font saying "Stop him." So,
right. I'm trying to find the reform. I know that there was a reform. I can't find it here.
Got a leaflet.
There was a reform leaflet.
Don't get caught with it.
Because of the system. Because most of these, although in some areas there are like different voting systems. Usually it's like a winner takes all. So you can win with all these parties if they all are running in your area. You can win with a small minority of the vote, 20-30% or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So even if and this is like it's very important. It's important when you come to like any election, but when you go to a member of parliament, loads of people win with less than 50% of the vote.
Tell me about the difference then between just educate me. The difference between you can win with 34% versus I have to do a coalition with a third place, party in order to take control. Is it just the difference? Yeah, go ahead.
In each individual seat, you can win with, say, 34%, right? And I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but the Labour Party only got about a third of the votes last time, but they have 2/3 of the seats. How the hell did that happen? Well, it's that their strength is spread fairly evenly across the country. Lots of people were voting against the Tories. And so they managed to win enough seats with those lower vote totals, right?
Okay.
Now, if you don't have a majority, so Labour has a majority, a very big majority, having nearly 2/3 of the seats. If you don't have a majority, then you got to team up with another party.
Oh, to run the government.
Okay. Exactly. Yeah,
Whereas you're talking about in an individual seat, where there might be 8 people on the ballot, you can win that seat.
Yes.
The single seat. Okay.
And that leads neatly to the next party on the list, the Green Party of England and Wales, with 5 seats, but another party that has been polling very high.
Yep. It's their time.
Obviously, left-wing environmental party, very pro-Gaza, very sort of, just very sort of progressive and left wing. They are peeling away support from Labor. If they could have, maybe, who knows? They have 5 MPs now, 2 dozen maybe. Mm-hmm. And then if they have the balance of power, there could be a broad sort of coalition you could imagine, depending on how it all shakes out between them and, say, Labor, the Liberal Democrats, something like this.
Yeah. Alternatively,
it could be a reform teaming up with something like the Conservative Party. But anyway, that's we're miles away from that, which is another quiz question I had for you. When is the next general election?
Well, this is the thing, and this is a learning curve for the American who's not, an election, a national election is not like just the Olympics. Like, it's always going to hit every X years. So every 5 years at a minimum, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
But if the ruling party is feeling spicy, they can be like, hey, we're doing one. And they can just call one early to sort of, I don't know, just double down on their gains.
Right.
And say we're in a position of strength. Let's sign a new 5-year lease.
That's it.
And this was, and the Conservatives did this, right? Didn't they do? And is that called a snap election or?
Yeah. If you do it before time, it's a snap election. If you do it before, I suppose technically, if you do it without like telegraphing your intentions, you just suddenly just go out there and say, "I'm calling an election."
Yeah.
Wow, surprise! And people are supposed to be like, "Hooray! What bold move!
Yeah.
What a visionary!"
Let's get behind.
I didn't realize somebody was telling me the other day about the 2024 election, about how the prime minister, who was conservative at the time, Rishi Sunak, did his snap election announcement in the pouring rain and refused to have an umbrella. Like, it was absolutely torrential in, I suppose it was about this time in 2024, before the July 2024 election.
Okay.
And he just looked like a miserable old wet dog out in front of Downing Street, and it was just a bad look.
Gosh.
And then he lost big time.
That was a really rough period for like pub quizzes. 20 years from now, when they ask at a pub quiz, name the prime ministers in order, that succession of failed post-Cameron conservative PMs is going to be
so many of them.
Okay, so 2029 at
2029 at the latest. Yeah, that's right. Though could be earlier. There was always this long-standing thing where it would always be in May or the spring, broken in 2019 when there was a December election, because of Brexit, actually, because Boris Johnson wanted to, it was a very close parliament, and he wanted to get some more MPs,
consolidate,
and he actually sort of was successful at doing that. Not because they saw that there was like a coronavirus and they knew that everything was going to... No, it didn't. It's just conspiracy.
Do you want to... Here, just read down this list.
This list... Okay, so on the rest of the list... Don't break them down. Just so we have... Okay, so there's a whole bunch... The Democratic Unionist Party, Social Democratic Labour Party, Alliance Party, Ulster Unionist Party, Traditional Unionist... Those are all Northern Irish parties. Northern Ireland has a completely different political system where none of those parties really... none of the big parties really function, but all those parties, they have sort of loose alliances with parties in the mainland, and they just do the whole thing a little bit differently there.
Okay, and they don't have like one big SNP one that's popular.
They don't have one big SNP one, no. But in Wales, you'll see Plaid Cymru there with 4. That is the Welsh Nationalist Party.
That is not how I would have pronounced that spelling.
No. And then you have a bunch of weirdo... Well, we have 8 independents. Oh, well, Sinn Féin obviously belongs to the Northern Ireland one, too. Wow. We have one from your party. That's Jeremy Corbyn, former Labour Party leader who is broken away.
Just your party.
Your party.
It's just your party. That's not your party.
Was going to be a left-wing challenge to Labour, but
they botched the rollout.
It's pretty much dead. Things like Restore Britain. Restore Britain is a far right guy who broke from the Reform Party. So it's like, hey, these guys didn't hate immigrants enough.
But his neighbors really like him. He's a lovely neighbor because he got enough votes locally to grab that seat.
Yeah. Independent Alliance, that's an interesting one. That's a bunch of pro-Gaza MPs.
Sounds a bit Star Wars-y.
But who don't like any of the other parties. Somehow they just didn't find a home. So, who knows where that goes, really. And then just like random independents. And then finally the speaker has a weird role.
Okay.
Is elected as an MP, but then doesn't sort of participate in any of the votes. He's just the speaker, or she's just the speaker.
Oh, and it has to be neutral?
And it has to be neutral, yeah. So weirdly, you vote for somebody, and they can usually hold the speaker office for a long time, but they can't vote on your behalf in Parliament, even though they represent a geographical area.
Oh, so your area is just shit out of luck?
Kind of, yeah. It's a very weird system. It's a very weird system. I'm struggling to remember who the actual speaker is now. Speaker of the House.
Not as famous as your dude Mike Johnson.
It's totally different job than the speaker. Yeah, than Mike Johnson. Right? He's a very powerful person. Lindsay Hoyle. Now, Lindsay is a man, right?
It's okay. It's all right. Lindsey Graham's.
And I'm trying to find out where is he. Chorley in Lancashire, having held that seat since 1997. Right. Okay. So sorry, people of Chorley.
Lindsay just has to say to one of his, neighbors, "Hey, could you vote? My people want this thing passed. Could you throw your vote their way? No, I'll buy you coffee."
That's basically what he has. I'll give you 10 minutes to talk.
All right.
Okay, so we're not here to tell you how to vote. Just vote for whoever you want to, right? But
all right, you got to tell me about the House of Lords. Are we still doing this?
The House of Lords, yeah. Okay, so now obviously our system of government, the Senate and the House, is based on this system of government, right? But the House of Lords,
bicameral.
The House of Lords has over the years their power has been taken away in sort of a democratic
rightfully
leaning.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. These people are sometimes very weird. Most of them are hereditary, not most of them are hereditary. Most of them are not hereditary anymore, but most of them used to be hereditary. Like they passed down their seat to their sons.
Okay, yeah.
There's bishops. There's a lot of bishops who are still in the House of Lords, right? So if you're a bishop, you can just be in the government.
All right. What's their function now?
Their function is to basically rubber stamp legislation. What they can do is they can hold it up, right? Now, usually this is not a problem at all. However, there was a big debate about assisted dying, right? So euthanasia, right? It was going to be legalized in this country. The House of Commons voted, a majority voted to approve it, but the House of Lords held it up. And so it's not becoming law because of these guys, but that's a rare exception. Most of the time, the House of Lords.
It seems they would be the beneficiaries of it. Yeah,
they were really scared. There's all their grandchildren.
Yeah, they're gonna come for me.
Well, all their children were
they want the manna.
They want the.
They're gonna forge some papers.
They want the seat in the House of Lords.
I want the euthanasia.
Sounds like something out of Dickens there. So. That law it probably will become law at some point in the next few years, but not now because of the House of Lords.
Right.
Usually they just do reports and hearings and
an advisory sort of.
Yeah. It's
function.
very much like the royal family, but except without any tourist value whatsoever.
Okay.
Here's another quiz question for you.
Okay.
Where do they use voting machines?
Where did they use?
Great Britain? Yeah, where do they use?
Do you mean like
electronic voting
in the
machines?
School cafeteria, or the precisely where do I go to vote?
For
or
a
just
vote? No. Where do you use it? Where do you use a machine rather than writing on a piece of paper?
Oh, so yeah, church hall. No. I bet you this is a trick question. Is it nowhere?
It is. You got it. You got it. Nowhere. Yes. It is always done with a pencil on paper.
Yeah, we're not going to get involved with any hanging chads.
No, there's no hanging chads. There's no Smartmatic Dominion
No
issues.
lawsuits.
The most I could find, actually, I see that in some places they use machines to count the votes, to count ballots. I'm not quite sure how they do that, but it's all on pieces of paper. Usually, and you'll see this in a general election if you watch the coverage, it's individuals counting, right? Volunteers and like workers at the council just individually counting people's X's on pieces of paper.
Wow.
It's refreshingly low tech. The most that I have seen is around the time of the Brexit vote, there was sort of like conspiracy theories that like you had to that you should bring a pen into the voting booth,
So that
because pencil can be erased.
Oh man.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people probably got told off for bringing pens because you're just supposed to use the pencil that's there. Anyway. Are we electing a mayor in London?
No, because I would have seen lots of
Exactly. Yes.
But I think the mayor of Hackney, where we're
the
sitting
mayor of
right
Hackney,
now,
yes. Several London boroughs are electing their mayors. They're less powerful than the actual mayor. They're actually a lot less powerful than the mayor, and the mayor of London is a lot less powerful because of what he controls and doesn't than the mayor of a big city like New York or Chicago.
But he's a big
But
figure.
he still is pretty powerful, and he's a big figure. Yeah. Is old Sadiq, and I think regardless of party politics, Sadiq Khan does love the Americans, doesn't he?
We keep saying, I mean, we really need to get him on the show. Sadiq, if you're listening, hit us up, colddarkmiserablepod@gmail.com.
Yeah,
we're name checking you every other episode.
If you really want to attract those Americans, he loves using us as his what do you call it? Like token. It's like tokenism in his war against Donald Trump, isn't it? It's like, look at all my Americans, Donald.
Yours hate you.
Yeah, yours. Right. Okay. I think I've come to the end of the list. That is our whirlwind. You've done. You had a perfect score on the quiz. You
Wow.
had so little faith in your knowledge in this subject, and you completely aced it.
Well, there was a crib sheet, so that's great, Mike. Well, we'll see. We'll come back. I guess we'll come back next time, and we'll say like these things occurred, and it mattered or it didn't matter. And
we'll check in to see that
maybe like, oh shit, the reform wave is still coming.
Sabres lost,
maybe.
and the labor lost. Yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
Thanks so much. That's very, very useful. Now, when my wife goes to the polls later this week, I'll, have a little frame of reference to chat with her.
Yeah. Don't vote yourself, though. You'll get arrested.
Right.
All right. Let's lighten the mood here.
Let's shift gears.
I want to hear because you have some recommendations.
I have some relevant recos. We're wrecking it up. Hey, I don't have a theme song for that one yet. Right. So
you do
we're
now.
gonna go into more my sphere of expertise, and that is pop culture. So recently, I've caught a couple things that featured transatlantic couples on screen. Not an actor doing a fake accent. It's being like, hey, I'm actually English, but I'm playing an American. But the depiction of a US-UK couple on screen with actors playing their actual nationalities. So I saw the hit sort of rom-coms. I saw somebody call it a doom-com with the very generic title The Drama, an A24 film from writer-director Christopher Borgley, probably pronounced very badly, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, and this is about a Englishman and an American woman who, on the eve of their wedding, a dark secret about one of them is discovered, and it throws the whole thing up into the air. Fantastic performances from both of those young.
I didn't see this movie. I saw I listened to or read a bunch of reviews of it.
Okay.
And was intrigued. Let's just set it out. Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
He's He's British.
He is
British. He's sort of a hot actor at the moment.
Frequently not British. Frequently playing Americans. I mean, he was Bruce Wayne. I think he's in like Mickey 17 from last year. Which nobody saw. He's doing
I like that movie.
Doing like a weird Brooklyn accent or something.
It's a weird, but then it's a weird sort of space sci-fi thing. So it's like you don't need to have like a.
It takes place in the Netherworld.
That's what sort of threw me.
And he was American in the Twilight series, I'm assuming, because that's on Pacific Northwest, right?
Okay.
And he's just brooding and mumbling, I assume. I haven't seen any of those movies. My kid's only 7. So yeah, Pattinson, and then Zendaya, of course. Euphoria and Challengers and the Spider-Man.
Great
movies.
Actors and good in this one.
Totally good. I watched this one and I was like, Zendaya, you're gonna get your Oscar someday, but you still look like you're 18 years old. So, but now she's playing adults. So. Quite enjoyed that. One of those comedies where like a lot of the humor is a bit edgy, and so I found myself. And it was a small theater, and so it was like the 3rd week that the movie was out, and it was the opening weekend of Michael, so it was a real small room, and I'm like laughing at everything that's pretty borderline inappropriate, and I'm like, oh, is this okay? Am I a sociopath? So I recommend the drama. And then there's a new series, a new season of what is now an anthology series on Netflix. This is the second time I have big upped a Netflix show on this pod, and the name of the show is Beef, BEEF. By director Lee Sung-jin. The first season was about a road rage incident and how things spiraled after that. And this one has I've only seen the first episode, and the stars are England's Carey Mulligan and America's Oscar Isaac as a transatlantic couple who are working at a country club.
It's a totally different storyline from the first Beef. Is that it?
Yeah. So so like the White Lotus or other shows, it's going to be an anthology series with a new cast and new ideas every season. So I watched the first episode of that a couple days after I'd seen the drama, and I was like, oh, I'm seeing all these U.S., UK, American English, transatlantic couples.
Let's just be clear, like the transatlanticism is actually like a plot point in the drama. I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like, because it affects the people's reaction to.
It's a gun thing. There's a gun thing.
There's a gun thing.
This movie's been out a while. Yeah.
I don't think we're ruining anyone. Everyone's going to see it. Yeah. So they have a different reaction to guns. And then Beef, is it the same thing?
I'm only one episode deep, but I think, it seems as if Carey Mulligan's like worldview or her taste, as an interior designer, is going to have some effect.
It's very British.
I got to keep going on that one.
And then he's like, why do you got all this old shit? It's quirky.
So this made me think to myself, well, what are the greatest all time? And me and Mike are both husbands in transatlantic U.S. UK marriages, and it made me think, what are the top 5 all time American English couples in film and TV history? So here we go. I'm going to break down my top 5.
You have a list.
I've got a top 5, man. I'm a list making pop culture nerd. So now, just some caveats. These are all fictional. There are tons of IRL examples.
Right.
You got your Gwyneth Paltrow, Chris Martin. You've got your Katy Perry, Russell Brand, Misbegotten. Holy hell!
I don't think they cracked the top 5. Anyway,
no. So these are fictional from movies and TV.
Fictional. Okay.
And the actors need to be playing their own nationality. And this is US UK, so not transatlantic. So, the Before Sunrise trilogy, with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, or like Casablanca. We're talking talking America, England. I'm not you're not letting any other countries get involved. Strictly America and England. This is mostly research from memory. I barely Googled it, and this is going to be Gen X slanted. I did a quick Google, and I got An Affair to Remember from like 1957. So with Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr, but then I was like, does Cary Grant really count as an American? It talks like this. Mid-Atlantic, I say. So I was like, I love Cary Grant, but he doesn't count. So here we go. I'm going to count them down. Top 5. I'm gonna like see if I can get you to do some guessing, and we'll see if we can do this in just a few minutes. All right, number 5. This is the sitcom division. Okay, so I had a runner-up for this one in the sitcom division.
Wow, you had like brackets.
Yeah. Well, it just happens to be I thought of a couple sitcoms. So, runner-up was Niles Crane and Daphne.
Oh yeah.
From Frasier.
Okay.
Which is a better show than the one I actually chose for the number 5 spot. So, can you name the sitcom, the 90s sitcom that features an American actor who went on to become the president of the Screen Actors Guild?
Whoa, no, I can't. Wait, let me think about it. Because all right, so an American actor with a British, coupled with a British person.
Yes,
from the 90s.
Show, yeah, on the show, and then she goes on to become president of the Screen Actors Guild and led them during the recent strike.
Oh, right. Okay. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that wasn't your beat at the time.
No.
So we're talking about The Nanny, Fran Drescher playing Fran Fine, and then an actor named Charles Shaughnessy, who Google tells me is actually Baron Charles Shaughnessy. How British can you get?
What?
As he plays Maxwell Sheffield, who is her her employer, who goes on to become her husband.
Yeah.
You want to do?
I don't know. That doesn't sound like equitable. You know, that sounds a little bit dodgy.
Yeah, no, definitely the power dynamics.
Dodgy plot. I don't know. I to be honest, I'm not so. I don't feel so bad because
it's fine.
I've never.
Do you remember The Nanny? You ever seen an episode of The Nanny?
No, I don't think I've.
Do you
ever
know
seen
Fran Drescher?
I know who. Can
you do her
Fran
laugh?
Drescher. That's like her voice. She's from like I'm from Jersey. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't even have no idea that the guy was a British guy.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if it was.
I was thinking like Mr. Belvedere or some shit.
Right, that sort of thing, or like Mrs. Doubtfire coded. So that's number 5. Put the sitcoms at number 5. All right, number 4.
Okay.
Number 4 is a double dip. This is a film that includes not one but 2 U.S.-UK couples from 2006. It is a Nancy Meyers film, which, you know...
I think you're going to put Jude Law in here somewhere.
Bang, 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 bang. Can you remember?
But,
I just watched this one at Christmas and can verify that it is bad. I had seen it in the past, and then, we're sitting around the in-laws at Christmas, and we're like, let's put this on. I was like, this is still bad. Just because it's now a holiday classic.
Oh, well, it's... He's in Love Actually. No, he's not in Love Actually.
No, you were right with Jude Law. So it's called The Holiday.
The Holiday.
The generically titled The Holiday.
Okay.
And the couples
No,
are...
I've not seen this one.
No. It'll be on Christmas time. So Cameron Diaz and Jude Law are the more foxy couple. And then the normie couple is Kate Winslet and Jack Black.
What?
Yeah, romantic lead Jack Black, though they do give him a chance to go a couple times because he plays a composer.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So yeah,
I mean, I guess like Kate Winslet is like funny. She does like funny stuff, right?
She can do it. Kate, she can.
Yeah. Okay,
so that's number 4.
So that makes sense on some weird level.
Yeah, They do a house swap. So Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet do a house swap.
And they do like a husband swap too.
Transatlantic. No, they just happen to, there was one of the boys is a neighbor and the other one is a brother, and convoluted plot mechanics. Don't worry about it. Don't think too much about it. Moving on to number 3 in the old school division. And this is the old school division. Now, this is from 1981, a very famous theme song. Don't let that throw you. The male lead is a famous British comedian/musician, and the female lead
comedian/musician.
And the female lead is a legendary star of stage and screen musicals and Hollywood royalty as well. Very famous mom. 1981, big comedy. If you had like Cinemax, HBO when you were a kid, this was just kind of always on. Sir John Gielgud co-stars. All right, you're 0 for 3. It's Arthur, Dudley Moore,
Okay.
and Liza
All right.
Minnelli And does it hold up? I bet it still holds up. I just remember that movie being very funny and quite a bit over my head.
How many times did you watch it?
It was just one of those like cable TV movies that was always on.
It's true. It's true.
If you get caught between the moon and New York City.
Oh, yeah.
That song's from Christopher Cross, Arthur's theme. Okay, great. You're doing great, Mike.
Oh, God.
Number 2.
How many is left?
Number 2, this is the Richard Curtis division. Are you ready? I'm going with a 1994 classic starring Hugh Grant.
Notting Hill.
That would be a 1999 not classic.
What? Oh, what?
Written by Richard Curtis. I went with 94.
Hugh Grant. Who else is Hugh Grant opposite? Oh, yeah, no. It is 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah.
Andy McDowell.
Yeah.
He chooses Andy McDowell over Kristen Scott Thomas.
Yes.
Debatable.
My wife says to me all the time, "Is it raining?" I hadn't noticed. Of course I noticed, like in this weird, ironic way.
She's quoting.
Yeah, she's quoting that. Yeah. I don't think I've actually seen the film.
David Cassidy. Yeah.
I haven't seen that film like all the way through. I just watched the clips on TikTok.
Yeah. It's another one that will just come up like it's on in the background at Christmas, and you get sucked in. You end up watching a half hour.
Whew, glad I got one.
All right,
out loud.
I think you'll get the last.
But this is the top one. All right,
I think you'll get number one.
Right.
Number one is one of the top 3 or 5 highest grossing movies of all time. From 1997, we had the lead actress was already featured.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah.
Say it.
Titanic.
Titanic, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. My wife was like, wasn't he Irish in that? I was like, I don't think so. But no, he's from Wisconsin. His character's from Wisconsin.
Okay.
He's king of the world. He paints her like her French ladies. And then he dies. Spoilers.
Tragic.
Necklace at the bottom of the ocean.
Absolutely tragic.
She never says, hey, maybe there's a little space on this plank of wood. Do you want to just try for a minute? You want to just try and see if we both can fit for a minute?
We can fit like 3 men on these lifeboats.
Maybe we can take turns on this plank of wood and both of us can live. No. Okay, you die. And I will be a sad old lady many years from now. Titanic at number 1. There you go. Top 5 American English couples in film and TV history.
That was very good. That was very good. I feel like it's ominous that the number 1, like basically they is involves death.
Yeah, no, doomed. But I had to be Titanic number 1. So did I miss any? Are there some obvious ones I missed? Hit us up, millennials and Gen Alphas, colddarkmiserablepod at gmail.com. If there's more to farm there, maybe we can do a whole episode about it. I don't think so, but let us know.
Oh, we must. Colddarkmiserablepod, all one word, at gmail.com.
That's
it for this week.
But Mike,
except
I feel like you haven't really heard me out yet about we need a big banging theme song.
Okay.
So I started to work on one this week, and
how far did you get?
I got quite a few lines into it, and then I was like, this is kind of a basic bitch idea again. Let me just do a quick YouTube search and see if anyone else has done this, and yes, someone else had come up with the idea to do David Bowie's Young Americans as Dumb Americans. So all I can say is, oh, shite, we're done in by dumb Americans. So that's the spoil. That's what you would have had. And I was going to be like, do you remember Anthony Scaramucci? But that's all gone now because somebody else beat me to it. So I pivoted last minute to a song that I'm less familiar with. And once again, I'll be cramming too many words into too few bars. But I'm going to do my best for you, Mike. Here we go. I don't know if you.
Go for it.
I don't even know if you're going to know this one.
All right.
Here we go.
Well, I mean, you go for it.
I hopped off the plane at Heathrow with my cardi and my broken American dream. Welcome to the land of the Magna Carta and the Sex Pistols, God save the Queen. Black cab driver takes me past Parliament, asks what's your democracy like. I talk about Citizens United. Cab driver says yikes. UK party systems got me feeling jealous. Corporate influence slightly less overzealous. You don't have to hold your nose and choose, baby. You could vote for Greens. Or you could vote Lib Dems. Or be an asshole and vote Reform. At home I threw my hands up. The system just sucks so bad I had to move away. Red is for billionaires. Blue is for billionaires. But here there's a plan for more balanced government, and maybe it'll work someday. Yeah! There's more than 2 parties in the UK. Yeah! There's multiple parties in the old UK. Miley Cyrus.